Hi, welcome back to another edition of Video Inc. My name is Greg Norman. It is Wednesday, October 15th, 2014, and I think we've got what I hope will be a great program today. The Community Christmas Toy Store will be discussed at length with Janet Kernett, who's the organization's treasurer, and Matt Bess, who is a volunteer within the organization, also a Brandon firefighter. And we're going to talk a little bit about the program, its activities, how we're helping out some folks that maybe are not so fortunate, and how you can get involved either by receiving the opportunities that come from the Community Christmas Toy Store, or from actually volunteering and maybe donating some of the items and apparel and even cash that they may need for their operations. So it's a really, really good show. I hope you will stay tuned, and we'll be back in a second. Hi, welcome back to Video Inc. I'm Greg Norman. We're lucky enough to be with both Janet Kernett and Matt Bess, who are part of the Christmas, to get this right, Community Christmas Toy Store.
Yes.
It's the second year we've had a chance to talk about it. And first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Video Inc. a little bit early. I know we're just ahead of Halloween, but you got to start thinking about Christmas and all the giveaways at this point.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start with the toy store, and we want to kind of talk about it and background and all the stuff that goes with it. And I know we had you on last year, Janet.
Yes.
And you're back for, how many years have you been involved?
I was trying to think last night exactly how many years, because my involvement goes back to when we were part of OSEF. And it was before I retired from teaching, which I've been retired 15 years now. And so I'm going to say it's a little over between 15 and 20 years, 15 to 20 years that I have been involved in the toy store. The Community Christmas Toy Store, which was an organization that broke off from OSEF. I've been involved with that since its conception, and I've been an officer and on the board since it was started, and I'm the treasurer of that committee.
Okay. Matt, what's your involvement?
I first started off when I became a full-time firefighter. The history of the toy store started with the Brandon Fire Department. It started kind of the Toys for Tots thing, but the Marine Corps didn't like us using that. So I came back and they worked with OSEF to donate collected toys that were distributed. So I've been doing this since 2001, 2002. Basically putting out the boxes, collecting the boxes, and delivering them to the store.
Okay, let's start with the basic understanding of what it is, and then we'll get to the nuts and bolts of how people sign up and how they go through it, and then we can talk a little bit about the program. And I know last year you were pretty emotional about talking about it, which I thought was pretty cool. It's something close to your heart.
I'll try not to cry.
No, but it's something close to your heart. I guess that's my point. What, in fact, is our Community Christmas Toy Store? If I knew nothing about the program, and I'm sitting home watching this program, explain to me what it is. I know you kind of said it's a Toys for Tots, but where does it start?
Well, it started, as Matt said, with the fire department gathering toys, and then they were distributed through OSEF. When OSEF received its 501c3 status, which means that it is tax exempt, then one of their lawyers or somebody in their organization said that their mission statement said that they could only give items of necessity, which included food and clothing. Toys were not listed as that. Those of us who had been heavily involved with the toy store aspect decided that we didn't want to see children left out at Christmas. So we created, and then we were first a nonprofit organization, and then we finally got all the paperwork, and as of 2012, we're a 501c3 tax exempt organization. That was the beginning of it. So the Community Christmas Toy Store itself, quote, has been in effect for about 3 years, but the tax exempt portion just for a little over a year and a half.
Okay.
And it's a very simple process. If people want or need to get toys for their children at Christmas, there are a few qualifications. Number one, they must be a resident of Brandon School District. Number two, their children must be between the ages of 0 and 12. And number three, first and foremost, they must be certified. And OSEF does the certification. Now,
Explain what that is.
certification is the process whereby they prove their income, their residency, the children that live in their home. In other words, their needs. Yes, it proves that they meet the requirements that the federal government sets up. So, for example, if you were a grandparent of a child and you lived in the district, but your grandchild lived 20 miles away, that child does not qualify. But if you're a grandparent and your child lives in your home, then you qualify.
Okay. Here's an invasive question, but I'm curious. I'm home and maybe I don't have the best, but I'm proud because I've fallen on hard times. That's a lot of folks in our community. Is the qualification to certification, is it a real invasive program? Or is it just a checks and balance to make sure that you deserve what you're getting?
I think it's a checks and balance. Basically as far as I understand the process, and I've never done certification because it's always been done through OSEF, but I think what they do is they require you to bring in like the social security card of your child that shows that this child really exists, and it gives the date of birth. You have to bring in something that shows you're a resident, a lease, consumer's bill, something like that. And as far as income, I believe they have some sort of way that they verify that your income is at that level. Please note, though, for people who say, well, I don't need food help or clothing help, the toy store is separate. So if you are meeting your basic needs and you don't feel that you need food or clothing, that's wonderful. I'm so happy that you don't, but you need to be aware that you can just file for toys.
Right.
The difference is you still have to go through the certification.
No, I get that.
Even if you don't want any of the other services that OSEF offers, you have to be certified before we can put you into the toy store.
May I ask the question because there's a lot of folks who have fallen on hard times who may not have been traditional poor or traditionally, unfortunate. And if I'm sitting home and I would just like a little boost, this is an organization that can certainly help.
Absolutely.
And my point is that if you're home, you need some help. It's not like you've got to jump through 1,000 hoops to get that help. Is my point.
Right. If I remember right, with Karen Milligan, she's the manager of OSEF. I can't remember what her official title is. She's the one that sets up all the appointments for certification, and it's not a long process. There are certain things you have to provide, but we have to have some way of making sure that we're giving toys to people that need that for financial reasons.
Absolutely.
And to vet out the people that are just
looking for a handout.
Exactly. And we don't think these aren't handouts; these are hand-ups.
Right.
That's our big thing.
My mistakes from a semantic standpoint. I get that. Now, the other side of it, man, is I'm sitting at home and I've got great Christmas spirit in my heart, even though probably at this point I should have Halloween spirit, maybe a little Thanksgiving spirit before Halloween spirit. At any rate, I'm sitting at home. How do wow, this sounds like a really interesting local charity. How do I get involved? So somebody's sitting at home. Where do they start?
Where do they start? One of the best places to start is look at our website. Our webmaster's done a great job with it. It's www.brandonccts.org.
Which is coming up on your screen as we speak.
And with that, it covers our history. It's got contact information, including phone numbers, emails. We also have PayPal links if you wish to donate. Also includes our address, our post office box if you'd like to donate donate money that way. If you wish to volunteer, our volunteer coordinator is Adele Ferguson. Her webmail directly is adele@brandonccts.org. She's a great person to start with. Send her off an email. The phone number also, we can put people in touch with the right people.
Okay. Let's start with the process. And the first process for us is going to be, we're going to put out donation jars in the community on November the 7th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in those jars, you can provide financial opportunity, change, and hopefully
Right. They can do change, or if they want records for income tax purposes, they can fold up a check. I mean, or if they don't feel comfortable doing that, obviously they can do the PayPal. They can do send the check to Box 733 here in Ortonville, and then they would have documentation. They also get a letter, which I will send to them, which says, thank you for your donation to the toy store. And then it meets the IRS requirements to have tax deduction on their income taxes.
As a great theologian once said, you want quiet money. The full stuff that folds in rather than the change. So I'm joking.
The big stuff is better, absolutely. But we'll take every single bit. I mean, the amount of kids we've helped over years have unfortunately raised exponentially.
Yeah.
200 and how many kids last year?
285
285 children last year.
And that's 0 to 12. When I first started, we did 0 to 18, and we had about 50 to 60. And now 0 to 12, and we were at 285 last year. Okay. And that was just what we handed out at the toy store, because if somebody, for some reason, and obviously we urge them not to, because it's a little more difficult. But if on December 24th you thought you were going to have the money, and for some reason you didn't, you can still contact OSEF or Karen Milligan at St. Anne's, and we leave extra gifts there. So if no child is left out, no child is left behind at Christmas, there will be something for that parent to give to their child.
Okay, so jars go out on the 7th. Donation boxes. Now let's be real clear about what those are. November 14th, your boxes go out to the community, and pretty much most of the businesses.
Pretty much
in town,
every business in the Brandon School District area, especially here in the village, has a box out.
Okay.
Box or a collection jar, one of the two. Some have both.
Maybe explain what the boxes are for.
Boxes will be set aside in the community, and usually by the register or something like that. Bring in a clean, preferably new, unwrapped toy. Drop it in the box, and we'll go back and pick them up just before our actual distribution date.
Okay.
And if the box gets full, we come in between and pick them up.
And
in between. We hope that we have to go back 20 times.
It doesn't
to pick
bother
up.
me a bit to go back and pick up empty boxes and swap them out.
Okay. Now, toy store sign up is Monday, November 24th.
That is the day that most people are coming in, and it's part of the OSEF thing, and the people are coming in on that day, and they are picking up their food for the Thanksgiving meals. And once they sign in and they get their ticket or whatever it is for the turkey, then they move on down the line. If they have a child, we set a time for them to come in, and the toy store itself this year is going to be December 13th. Am I correct? On
Yes.
Saturday the 13th.
Hardy Hall.
At Hardy, well, it's...
Which is St. Anne's Church.
Yes, it's
Right.
the back of St. Anne's Church. And then they come in, we sign up approximately 8 families every 15 minutes, starting at 8 a.m. And the theory is that way we can have a little better confidentiality, so that not everybody is in there shopping at the same time. Like, you might be there at 8 o'clock and you don't know your neighbor is going to be there at 10:30. People do not, we try to keep it as private as possible. We understand that this is not the easiest thing to do. And a lot of people say, if it wasn't for the fact that I have a child, I don't think I could ask. For my kids, I'll do it.
Right.
And so then they get the little slip. They have a time that's assigned to them. If they are not there on the 24th, and they come in, maybe they're working that day or something, they can always contact, again, Karen Milligan, and she will set a time for them on the 13th. We always leave her blank spaces to put in time so that kids are not left out.
Okay, before we get into some specifics about why you guys donate, and I want that to be a special discussion, we're going to take a break in a second, but I want to make sure the phone number is correct. If you want to contact Karen Milligan, I'm understanding?
No, you contact anybody at the Community
OSEF.
Christmas Toy Store.
Okay.
If you want to contact OSEF and Karen Milligan, that's a separate number.
Okay, if you want to contact anybody at the toy store, we want to call 248, and again, the number's coming up on the screen, 795-5281, and specifically from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 9 to 9 on Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget the website, which is www.brandonctts.org, and we'll be back with Janet and Matt in just a second. Hi, and welcome back to Video Inc. My name is Greg Norman. We're lucky enough to have with us again today the Community Christmas Toy Store, Matt Best and Janet Kernat. And we've had a chance to talk a little bit about all of the sort of mechanical parts of the phone numbers and then why it works and how it works and those kinds of things. And we wanted to get a little more personal for a second. We've got a lit candle, and I think you brought a couple of, are these representations of what it is that, or are these just Christmas decorations?
Just Christmas.
This Christmas stuff.
Okay. So
But they have some sort of background for this.
okay. All right. Well, that's good. So
Can I add one? We've done one new thing this year
Okay.
that I've just started, and I'm hoping that people will take advantage of it. For those of you who are Amazon shoppers, I don't know how many people are. I happen to be one of those people.
Amazon the river, or
Amazon
Amazon the website.
Amazon the website.
I'm joking.
All right, so if you go to Amazon.com, if you look towards the end, they usually ask if you want to donate to a charity. They have, it's part of what's called Amazon Smiles. The toy store, the Community Christmas Toy Store, is now one of those charities. So you can select and put in the Community Christmas Toy Store. It'll bring up our address, Box 733, Ortonville, Michigan, our nonprofit number, and part of your purchase will then be donated to the toy store. So it's just another way that you can do a donation without, it really doesn't cost you anything. It's Amazon's part, and they gave us a percentage of what you spend at Amazon. I just wanted to throw it out. This is brand new. I just just did the information about 2 weeks ago.
And that's great. If you have the opportunity, let's make sure that if you get a chance to click the Amazon button, that would be cool.
Yes.
Sometimes when we do these kinds of interviews, I'm struck with two ideas. You mentioned in the first segment that you started with 50 and you're now doing 285, and what wonderful work that is. But I also think, to some extent, wouldn't it be cool to not have the toy store and not have the problem?
Not have the need.
From that perspective. And so sometimes I think of, we look at this great growing economy and everything's supposed to be terrific, yet we're helping more people, at the lower levels from that standpoint. So, if you guys have a target number this year, do you see it increasing again?
We will not have a target number until close after the November 24th sign up. That's when we will have some numbers that will come, and then there will be additions that will be added on. But that's when we get our first numbers, because we never know. As I said, but they have to go through that certification process, which I believe, well, I don't want to be quoted, but I believe it's next week is when St. Anne's or Karen Milligan is going to be running the certification processes. And then, but it's November 24th, which is our target date.
But that certification process runs year long.
Yes, it's
she just every year she starts and resets and starts over, make sure people are still qualified for it.
Yes, you have to be recertified every year.
Are you surprised that the numbers keep going up in the people that you help? And again, I say that it's a wonderful thing, but does it surprise you? Because sometimes it does surprise me a little.
In a way, yes. In a way, no. Things are supposedly getting better, but what is getting better? Are there more jobs out there? What kind of jobs are there? Are they the minimum wage jobs where people do need extra help, the assistance, or are they just a job?
I'm not trying to model it. I know there are 25,000 kids in our county that go to bed hungry every night. And with the farms we have around here, it just doesn't compute. It doesn't seem to make sense to me in my brain. So it's not a political point. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
This is that you have an opportunity to both take care of sustenance, obvious need, and still provide with the joy of a toy at Christmas for somebody.
It's just, as he says, I'm surprised sometimes when I see the numbers grow, because over 20 years I've watched the numbers grow so drastically. But I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
I'm really not. I know that it all it takes, and I think I said this last year, all it takes for somebody who should be or feels that they're doing okay is one major illness, one major car repair, one dental bill, and suddenly your budget is gone. And that monies that you thought you had that was set aside for Christmas now has to go buy the tires. Now has to go buy the tank of propane or the tank of fuel oil. Most of us, and I think they've proven that most people are just like one or two paychecks away from being in desperate need. People today just don't have the big savings accounts. And I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's the economics or if it's just the existence of the way we live our lives, that we tend to spend what we earn. I think that's true for a lot of people. No matter what they earn, that's the amount that they spend. And they don't plan ahead. Now, maybe there is no money that they could plan ahead with. They need every cent of money that they have to meet their daily needs. I can't give you a reason.
No, and I just those thoughts as you're trying to help out. Matt, you're a firefighter?
Yes.
You spend your day helping people every day. Why this?
Why not? It's fun. It's enjoyable. Having the ability to help someone is you want to do these things. You want to help other people. That's why I work for the fire department. I enjoy being able to help other people. I've been involved with different. I used to be involved with the Lions Club very heavily growing up as a child. I used to help them back in the days of Country Fest and the pig wrestling and all those things. I used to help them a lot with that. Warms your heart. Makes you can look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and go, hey, I did okay. You can sleep at night.
I'm a believer that what Jerry Lewis has said for years, which is that we do it selfishly because it makes ourselves feel good. And I obviously believe that in my heart. Doesn't mean that there isn't a great result from it, but we're somewhat selfish because we want to help folks, and that's not a bad place to be either.
Well, I think mine started obviously because I've dealt with kids all of my life. I started teaching here in Brandon in 1968. So
not to date Jan or anything.
Not to date me or anything, but Matt was a former student of mine.
That too.
If you want to talk about really being dated, I told him if he just kept his hair a little longer, I'd be happier.
Are you making ball jokes?
No, I guess I won't.
Because you're outnumbered at least at this table.
But I've watched kids go through, and I've had kids who've talked to me privately about the struggles that are in their home, and this was, prior to where we're at right now, because as I said, I retired around 2000. But I know that, there are families that have issues, and I know this makes me feel good. Christmas was always very special in my family, and
you did it. She had her going. I can't imagine waking up on Christmas morning and not having something open as a child. I was very lucky. My parents were able to provide for us very well, but I can't imagine not having something to open, and I can't imagine the anguish in a parent that you can't provide that for your child.
Yeah.
And by doing this and providing, just helping a little bit of our world, a little corner of our life that we can help out, just a little bit. To make a smile.
Talked to a couple of recipients in January last year after you and I had an interview, and I think in October or November. And I keep remembering the Sam Levinson, is an old humorist. He wrote a book called "I Didn't Know I Was Poor Until Somebody Told Me," because he had a clean house, and and one of the things that the recipient mentioned was the fact is that we were treated with great dignity within this program, and that it didn't feel like we were getting a handout, that we were just helping our kids. And that's a remarkable statement to make from the recipient who had a lot of pride and didn't want to really reach out and felt better about it after the fact. That's a testament to the program.
One of the things that we really strive is that we want people to realize there is no shame, that we do this because we want to. And I have to tell you that this community, and I've said it many times, this is the most generous community I've ever seen. And I'll relate a story. I don't know if it was in the Citizen this week or not.
Yes, it was.
It was?
Yes, the article was in there.
But I wrote a letter to the editor. I was one of the people who was at the September Fest. We had a booth right down by Hamilton's. And we were sitting there, and people were coming over and asking about our program. And this young kid rode up on his bicycle. And he just stood there and he waited till we finished our conversation with the lady that had some questions. And he looked at us and he said, "I just wanted to know if you'd like my bicycle to give to another child that could use it." My mouth just like, you've got to be kidding me. And we just looked at him. I didn't even know what to say. And we asked if his parents were okay. He called his mom over, and his mom said, it's his decision if he wants to. And he rode his bicycle around, put it behind our booth, and walked away.
Now, 10, 12 years old as a kid, your bike is your window to the world.
I don't know how old he was. He could have been
up.
anywhere from 10 to 15. I mean, I really don't know. We didn't get a name or anything. But he just rode up and handed over his bicycle.
That's cool. My wife works for the Pistons as director of travel, and whenever they send out Pistons for charity events, giving away turkeys or whatever it might be, there's always an entourage of cameras. So the general manager, not the new one, but the old general manager and I used to have discussions, and I said the old days when the Lions used to go out, there was never any cameras around. they just went out to the community and did what they did. Nobody knew about it. And I said, to me, it's a publicity stunt. And like this young man is just helping to help. It's just from the heart. It's not something that he's looking for a pat on the back for. So it's pretty remarkable.
What I said in my letter is that it takes a parent to teach that to a child,
Yep.
and a child to pay it forward.
Yep.
And that's kind of cliche from a movie,
No,
but
I get it. Well, let me wrap this up by being very specific so we understand what we're doing. Donation jars go up November 7th.
Right.
Donation boxes in the community go up November 14th.
Right.
And we want to give the contact phone number information again, which is coming up on your screen, 795-5281. You can call between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we'll be very specific that the website address is www, it's coming up right now, Brandon CCTS, Community Christmas Toy Store.org. And you should get involved because this is a great opportunity. It is it is a nonprofit organization, so it is a donation on your taxes and all those good things. And there's PayPal, and am I missing anything?
We'll be picking up the boxes and the toys on Saturday or Thursday, December 11th. This will be our pickup date. We need time. We need time to go through and sort everything. So that'll be our pickup date. All the dates that are listed and everything else on there, along with locations, the PayPal account, everything is on the website. We've got everybody that has a box, everybody that has a donation jar is all on there. Once again, they're all within the local community. They've all generously allowed us some space to advertise. And also in the boxing community, we've even gone with little QR tags, those little goofy looking barcode thingies. You scan with your smartphone, it'll take you right to the website, and it's another way to donate. Very quick, very easy.
Okay.
yeah. And if you choose, you can always use the snail mail, box 733, and it'll get to us too. We'll take your money any way you want to get. We'll take money, toys, anything that you, and if you want to volunteer, go through Adele at the website, and that way you will then, she's the volunteer coordinator, we'll set it up so that you know. We're always looking for people who want to come in and take part of it. And we try to give our kids the best Christmas that we can. And again, it goes back because this is a community activity. We have so many organizations that donate money to us. We have organizations that donate toys. It can be from Maybellina's, who makes the pillowcases, to the woodworkers who make wooden toys for us, to people who crochet and knit.
Yep. And 99%, if not more, of what you donate goes towards toys. Our administrative overhead is extremely small. Things we pay for, checks, the stamps,
and the post office box.
Paper occasionally. Most of the stuff that we send out is we donate ourselves. We pick up these things. So the actual money that goes for administrative overhead is tiny. Everything we do, as much as possible, any money that's given to us does go directly towards toys.
Unless it's a fee that the state assesses us. I mean, and as I said, even the people that are on the Toy Store Committee, and as Matt alluded to, we tend to go out and we donate ourselves. And just as a point, just one thing I did not say, when the parents come in, they can't bring their children to the toy store, so the kids don't get to see. But we have people then that after you've shopped and got all of your toys, somebody puts them into garbage bags. Well, we use garbage bags because they're usually a lot.
Clean ones.
Yes, clean ones, brand new ones. And then we have somebody that carries them to the car for you. If we have Christmas paper that's been donated, we give them Christmas paper, we give them tape, we give them batteries for the toys. Those are the sort of things, because there's nothing worse than a child getting a toy at Christmas that runs out of battery and there's no battery. I mean, I'm sure every one of us has done that at one time or another.
And Dad has to run up to the local CVS or whatever's open, could be a gas station, and you try to find a a AA battery on Christmas morning, and everybody sold out because every other father forgot to do the same thing when they bought something.
So we try to make everything as complete as we can so that the parents are not.
Got it. I understand.
Okay.
I do. No, I absolutely understand. And to make it sure this is a complete prep package.
Yeah.
Janet, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you
Great,
being
thank
here.
you very much. And
A beautiful green lawn. We want it. So we fertilize and we water. Fertilize and water. Fertilize and water. Fertilize and water. But did you ever stop to think about what happens to all that fertilizer when it runs off our lawn into a storm drain or a ditch? It pollutes our water and causes algae blooms that use up oxygen fish need to live. Help keep our water safe and clean. Sweep excess fertilizer back onto your lawn. Use a fertilizer with little or no phosphorus. Or hire a lawn care service that follows these practices. Together we can keep our water clean. It's our water, our future, ours to protect.
And that's pretty much all you need to know about the Community Christmas Toy Store. As you can see over my shoulder, over this shoulder, you can see all the information that you need to know about the website and the phone numbers and their hours. I wanted to thank Janet Cronett and Matt Best for coming on the show and talking a little bit about the Community Christmas Toy Store. And if you've got 5 seconds, take advantage of either being involved in it from a donation standpoint or volunteer. And if you're in need for something, I think it's pretty clear that if you listen to both Janet and Matt, they don't want any children to go in our community to go left unattended for Christmas. So open your heart, open your wallet, and see what you can do to help them. Other than that, I would just say this has just been a really good show to do, and I certainly appreciate all the work that Janet and Matt do on behalf of the Community Christmas Toy Store. That said, this is Greg Norman for all the guys in the back. We'll be back again next week with another program, and until next time, have fun.